later.
And backtracking as well, like the first fight where he chunked Elyoya to half, remember that's how they got near Soul Point. So it wasn't just one fight, as you said, highlighting the fact that Caps did it back to back to back. Game 1 was Excelsior for G2. Don't know if that's proper English.
Morgana ban.
Morgana ban.
I'm really excited about this champ. I think that she's received a bunch of buffs, and I think that she's just like a very strong, and it's cool to see teams kind of respecting that. But MKOI wanting to pick up the pace this time around. They're going to get themselves the Pantheon with the Poppy Morgana Xayah ban on their side, and the Varus, Yunara, and Ambessa still on the ban from the side of G2.
Imagine it'd be the Orianna pick here for Caps, so you can try and set up for a strong mid jungle if you want to try and go for it, but
Jarvan has been left open, but I do think there's a lot of risk with blinding Jarvan just because there's still Ezreal available. Aurora can also do, like, it's not the easiest Orianna matchup, of course, but against Jarvan it can be quite easy to navigate your way around that.
Maybe they're going to do it anyway, though. The pairing with Jarvan and Ori just feels so nice, but you're right, there is mobility available. Supa playing Ezreal is not very far gone either.
Remember, there's still things like the Nocturne as a possibility.
Oh, yeah.
With the Poppy banned, we did see the Volley Bear, but I'd be surprised to see that this early in the draft from SkewMond when there are still quite a few jungle options available to him.
I mean, buy an option if you really want to try and go for something that's a little bit more... Okay, no, just going to go for the Trundle. I mean, good early skirmishing, great tower taking, and definitely something that can work well when it gets shielded to just go for these aggressive trades in the 2v2.
Remember that Rakan is still open if G2 wants something fast to be that bold delivery system. Labrov could focus that, but MKOI could also look to take it away. I'm curious as to what they can use as a response to the Orianna. Annie has been left open. It looks like bot lane's going to be their direction instead.
Do you go Nautilus straight away here? Do you go support to lock in for the Kai'Sa? Or are they just going to go for something like Annie? You mentioned it before for the matchup, and with the Pantheon, there is nice lockdown here, as well as Dive already setting up for the comp. Huge. I mean, Jojo has a statement to bring after game 1. His Azir wasn't the cleanest. He got outclassed in those mid-game fights.
He did have some nice picks in the mid-game, though.
I mean, the side lanes, he was also very
he was,
yeah. Ooh, I mean, so this is a matchup that he did play into Poby, and in the early laning phase, he really got bullied. But the value that it brings in the late game fights, you can already see the dive starting to be constructed by KOI. Pantheon ultis in, the Kai'Sa follows up, and then the Galio has the pick of the litter with who he wants to ulti on to provide that support.
I am curious, though, what they want to try and take from Myrwn in that top side, because I imagine you're going to start to see bans teeter towards him. You want a bit more damage amp coming through from that top side, so things like the Gwen could be taken away, maybe even looking at something like an Aurora ban, honestly, if you really want to try and pinch his pool. But I am waiting as to how, or at least what G2 sees those major threats.
Honestly, I look at this MKOI comp and I think, oh, and Ambessa would look great here. And of course,
and then
G2 removing that so early on in the draft. Quite considering their dive options, like, things always lean towards potentially an Akali that we've seen from Myrwn, but we know he likes to use that as a counter pick rather than as a go-to pick. There's also possibility of, well, I mean, the truth is, you never really know with Myrwn. He's always got a lot of pocket picks prepared, and I'm curious as to what he brings out. If he goes for something a little bit safer, he could just go for something like the Yorick, which doesn't necessarily fit into the dive theme, but is also just a relatively safe top-side pick. Cassante also works at just kind of creating chaos and bringing someone to the backline if they want someone a little bit tankier as well.
Does he want a Gwen here? Are we really going into like something outside of the tanks maybe? Because the Jax ban is opening up for something that is similar?
I think the Gwen does work because it doesn't go into tank, which is what Trundle wants. Also, you can then Shroud to remove the Shockwave from Orianna, and it's kind of difficult for Corki to really get high value against her. So I think that's probably what they're eyeing up, and that's why, I actually thought I was going to get a Gwen ban on this last rotation, but the Nico, which may look strange. I mean, obviously it's support, but Myrwn has also been playing a lot in solo queue, so definitely a duo ban to both of those lanes.
What will the final ban be here for MKOI? I wonder if they will just pinch the support pool as well. The Nautilus is, of course, still available, that was mentioned earlier.
I think Alistar a good option as well, so you're kind of...
Because I think for G2, they're just looking for a little bit more engage right now.
Oh, that's a Yorick fish if I've seen one. maybe Myrwn's going to pull out the Yorick.
I mean, again, he's an unpredictable top laner. He can play both the meta stuff and he's got his own comfort picks. You can ignore the hover on the side of G2. As the smirk comes through from Hans Sama. And there is that Alistar going to be locked in, as you were discussing earlier. Just an easy engage support. relatively safe. With the Braum already gone as well, makes it a slightly safer pick to bring through. I think the Nautilus can still be a perfectly fine response if Alvaro wants to bring that out for himself.
It looks like you've called it, Hysterics. Yeah, the show got banned.
Just the past couple of days have been Sjokz into Yorick, Sjokz into Yorick. Wife has been feasted. Like, it is the most vile matchup, honestly, as Renekton gets pulled up against it. Broken Blade R5, he's going to try and wing this into Myrwn. And winning topside now feels a little bit more important.
Well, I think that KOI still have gotten exactly what they started. Sorry, I should rephrase this. They want a dive comp, and I think that they've successfully drafted around that. When you look at Yorick, of course, he is a champion, isn't inherently a good dive champion, but he's a well-rounded champion. He works well on side lanes, he has typically very good matchups, he's a pretty safe blind, and also just the Maiden does so much when playing around objectives. The amount of body blocking that she can do, the potential zoning, the chip damage that he has as well by throwing his ghouls at opponents. While it doesn't fit into necessarily the theme of diving, he's just a very solid, well-rounded top lane champion that I think can just fit into what is a very dive-centric comp from Movistar KOI.
I do think, though, from G2, they've set up well with champions that do well when played into, right? Like, jumping into Trundle tends to be where he wants to be. Jumping into Renekton is what he wants you to do as well. So a lot of what MKOI have kind of has bruisers that answer well, and plus you've got decent peel that can come through from the Alistar to boot. So I think again, MKOI need to set up early on objectives, not like we saw in game number 1 where it's kind of G2 are getting to a lot of these punches quicker, because if you're in a position where G2 can control chokes with Trundle Pillar, with Orianna Shockwave, it becomes really difficult for you to try and enter these points as MKOI, unless you want to just like throw Elyoya in, have Jojopyun follow up, and then hope that Supa can finish someone off with the killer instinct.
Now, quick tidbit, we are starting off with a pause. That is the game delay currently. No update. Okay, we got potential wrong runes, and we're going to check that.
Okay.
And we're going to see who picked up wrong runes, gents. Can you see with your hidden vision who looks different?
That's usually.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
PTO Trundle's normal. Wait, I see it. Broken Blade has grasp on Renekton.
Oh, yes.
As opposed to Conqueror, which we normally see.
Conqueror, even PTA is probably more normal than that. There was like a period about 4 months ago where people were holding on to grasp for like half a month. And when I say that, I think that was just Aragorn. but other Renektons in the industry were experimenting with this as well. It just ended at a dead end. I think we kind of walked away from that after Overlord's Bloodmail, and Grasp just didn't feel as strong as anything else he could do. So yeah, I feel like it's BV for the time being. We are going to work on that, because Grasp Renekton, I don't care if it's against Yorick, it just sounds bad.
Well, once we have more information, we will of course share said information.
The old chat is good. They are talking about it. Broken Blade saying he's being checked, yeah.
In any case, of course, as a reminder, both these teams have already secured a spot at Madrid, and they've secured a spot at the World Championship. What they're fighting for right now is, of course, the Summer Split title, and they're fighting for seeding when it comes to the World Championship. Either team can, of course, still represent Europe as the first seed, because the loser will simply move down into the losers bracket final, where if they do win that, they would get a rematch against the winner of this winner, where they would then play again in the finals. But of course, there are many hungry teams in the lower bracket that, of course, are all looking to fight for that spot themselves, with Fnatic playing up against GX tomorrow, which will also be a pretty exciting matchup. The GX boys on the podcast this week talked a lot about how confident they were playing up against Fnatic and how they really believe that they can fight for that top 4 spot.
It is also just funny to see how similar this has played out to Spring, right? Like, instead of it being Vitality, it was Heretics, but we end up with a very similar top 5. We have the potential now for, if Fnatic are able to win, for them to go up against KC, where they were 3-0'd in Spring, which then led to MKOI versus KC after MKOI had been knocked down by G2 in this same matchup in round 3. So could very easily just be lazy scriptwriters on this one, going like copy and paste it, change the homework a little bit, stick Vitality in there instead of Heretics, and we'll get the job done.
It certainly could be. Of course, a lot of things could change. I'm excited to see the development. We are just remaking the draft right now. We're looking to quickly fix these rune issues, and then we're getting straight back into the game.
Can we keep having a look at signs? So the pitches are good. Yeah, hold them up. Hold them up. Guys, we're in a pause. Hold up your sign. That's your hand. Hold up a sign. And we'll talk again. ETA is 4 minutes, by the way. Broken Blade thumbs are up. Oh, I like that. Wait. He's complaining about grasp. I can see it. Okay. We are going through pick and ban. So, yeah, it was an issue. I saw grasp on Renekton. He does not want grasp. That'll be sorted shortly. Hi, kitty. From Australia. That is a far way away. Guys, it's a 24-hour flight.
So the thing that gets me about Australia is having flown there before, you forget how big Australia is.
It is a big land.
Because on the map, you just think, you know, it doesn't look that big, but it's huge.
It is massive.
It is absolutely
Is it as big as Ireland?
huge. I think it's bigger than Ireland.
That's mad.
No.
I don't think there's many places like that.
It fits, like, I think it fits into like 56 or 60% of the US, and you got to remember the US is gigantic.
Yeah, it's pretty damn big. So you get to Australia, and then you realize that if you want to go to the other side of it, you still have a very long
Because
flight
the thing
ahead
is,
of
a
you.
lot of people don't go through the middle. Because if you get caught in the middle,
It's bad.
like, that's a good song, but yeah. But you literally, there's no help. It's just desert. 90% of Australia is uninhabitable. So, yeah, it's kind of rough.
Shout out to all the fans that have of course, come to watch this awesome matchup between our two top teams in the LEC. I can see that the champions are locked in from both sides, and hopefully we'll be jumping into game with no further rune issues. And then we can get game 2 underway. As if you've just joined us, G2
What were you doing?
lead.
What the hell's going on?
I mean, what happened?
What
Come
are
on,
you-
scheduling with same time.
Hey,
you know what I mean?
You know when we start.
Yeah, and it is
Disappointed in you.
Yeah, I
G2
am too.
versus MKOI, with G2 currently leading the series 1-0.
You're like our mum, Betty. She just keep going on with the show. Dagda and I, a
The
little bit.
children are in the
I mean,
Scallion.
yeah, you two keep running off into the corners. I'm like, all right, I'll do the housekeeping. It's all good.
Look, I found the crayons and they're going on the wall.
I don't know about you, but I am not eating my dinner. You're going to have to try harder than that.
I don't know what your airplane noises are like.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, you know what? We're going to be eating good because we've got game 2 on the horizon.
Damn, he is a professional.
God, he's
That was
What can I
good.
say?
That was
very good.
We call that a
Thank
transition.
you, Mama Vedius. I appreciate your hard work, even though sometimes I don't say it. All right. Anyone who has kids, I think this is very real for you right now. I hope your children also like watching League of Legends, because otherwise you are going to have to attend to them and miss this. It should bang. It should slap. All I want is a competitive series. All I want is a showcase when, at the start, I think Betty said it, our region under fire a little bit. What does the quality of League look like? Our 2 world representatives out of 3, here they are. Show us something big.
I really do think that game 1 was a good showcase from both
It was a
sides, though.
great
We saw a
start,
lot of
to be
good
fair.
stuff. Dagda talked a lot about how it felt around these objectives. G2 just played around their pressure that they had on lanes better. They were able to get first on a lot of objectives, but KOI did some great stuff on of their own. They're like punishing the positioning of G2 in the mid lane by using the Sivir ultimate to get a pick to then secure their first strike into the game. The way in which they reapproached a lot of these neutral objectives, especially when they were able to sneak away a single grab on the top side. So I think there's a lot of promising things to take away from both teams, and we'll see how things develop as we jump into game 2.
I think MKOI will be a little disappointed, though, that they end up with this big lead on Supa that they couldn't capitalize on. Because traditionally, that has been their strength, right? They get a stranglehold in a game they do not let go.
Yep.
Unfortunately, though, just not able to keep pace with G2.
Oh, nice.
But we're seeing the invades on both sides. They handshake the wards. They spot out where people are, and they'll back away.
Oh, we're getting player comps at the same time. Hello.
I do wonder if that's
Alistar
just
will
us or if
be
that's
back.
actually going out.
So they could have this.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss my then.
It is going
I'm gonna start blue, okay?
Okay, well,
Miri? I mean,
We're going to
Supa?
get it.
hopefully
Yo,
that will disappear
13-man
very
cast.
soon.
Big. I always wanted a quad cast. I didn't know we'd get 13.
Okay, the voices have
Voices in
gone.
my head have stopped.
Great.
They never stop for me. Now, with the fans sharing their sentiment, we begin. For Caps, lane's already going well, as you'd expect for the Orianna. A quick side note, you know, we had
How
that
about you say
ball-
he's 1 CS?
Jojo's at half HP at level 1. I'm going to say Caps are doing good, you know, like, as you expect. I did also want to mention that, obviously, there is a Conqueror on the Renekton, so no further delay. Broken Blade has got it right, and I'm looking forward to this lane as well, because Broken Blade picked this into the Yorick, and I feel like, again, there is ways to get out of the Dark Possession, which is the most important interaction.
What I'll say is that we've cast League for a long time, so Renekton to me is just a champion that was just such a mainstay for so long. But in fairness, we really haven't seen that much Renekton, so it's kind of a treat. A little bit. Just a little bit.
Really?
We really don't get Renekton that often.
Okay.
And we're only going to get to see him once, you know? So we won't get overwhelmed with Renekton in the top lane.
I mean, yeah.
Do you know how many Twitter battles have happened over just Renekton existing?
But the Twitter battle started because it was a B1 Renekton.
Ooh, Jojo.
Jojo. Let's ignore that.
No, Jojo.
Jojo.
No,
Oh!
Jojo!
As soon as he Justice punched forward, I could tell you in a heartbeat that was flash or kill, and it was both for Caps.
Caps off to a fantastic start. We talked earlier about how we saw this matchup last week when Jojo played up against Poby, and a similar thing happened. Level 2, Poby came very close to solo killing Jojo, but he was able to live. This time round, though, pushing the wave as deep as he did, he wasn't able to escape to the safety of his tower, and it's Caps that secures first blood.
It's also so nice for Caps because you TP back with your early tier, and you're set up so effectively now to just farm that up and get to a point where the service is nice and early. SkewMond now on top side.
Wait for the Ruthless Predator, wait for the Fury as well. Broken Blade has it in hand for the W. The flash commits, but it's late with the pillar finally coming out. Broken Blade can't get much more damage down. Culver Meek finally, but
Elyoya bot lane.
a bit mistimed as the dive in reverse. And the 2v3, the pop away is nice. Alvaro almost dies and his flash is burnt. The dive stops there and both sides survive.
Good interrupt from Labrov. Ends up punching away Elyoya, so he can't get anything off the back of it. So Hansam and Labrov survived the counterplay, on the top side.
Here we go again. Ruthless Predator once again. That Reign of Anger management's nice. Slice and dice now maxed out, and Broken Blade puts Myrwn low. No mana either. The Biscuit's being relied on here to receive this wave.
The swap quickly coming through from MKOI, and just great play from both junglers. I love the aggression from Elyoya, threatening that dive on the bot side of the map. Execution doesn't quite go the way that they want because, as Dagda highlighted, that nice response from Labrov, but also a great flash from Myrwn very early on to respond to SkewMond's aggression to avoid him losing his life as well. So both junglers looking to be much more proactive here in this early game for game 2. But now the swaps have come through, supports find themselves in mid lane, and the map will start being a lot more dynamic.
I do wonder how aggressive SkewMond wants to get on this bottom side, though, because now... Oh, hang on.
It's an interrupt as well. Caps, no shockwave available, otherwise I'd say there'd be a bit of trouble. Jojo kites back here from the command attack. And as supports move away, it is top lane proceedings. They are just going to clear away some vision. Maybe just give safety towards these AD carries, yeah.
I was just going to say, SkewMond has an opportunity if he wants to abuse the fact that Myrwn flashed in that last play. Even though he burnt his own, Broken Blade can still set up the play, but now Jojo on mid, he has no flash.
Oh man, no flash and a Justice Punch, that's about it. Labrov just out of range, so Elyoya also covering. So granted, he wasn't in any real threat there, but you can see G2 are getting very proactive around mid.
I think that if Caps had had a little bit more mana, they really would have tried to force that. But now that he's level 6, Jojo has to be extremely careful.
Elyoya on the way as well. They want to make this play happen.
Alvaro going to snip in. Remember, Caps has no flash either. On the edge, he's knocked up. Shockwave brings them all in, but 3 won't matter. The pop away, Labrov! That 1-for-1 was nice, but remember, Caps is the one who pays.
That's the thing. MKOI ended up getting the kill back, but it ends up going to Labrov, not the target that you wanted on. Whereas for MKOI, they end up picking it up on the mid laner for Jojo to try and even out that early kill.
I just love that MKOI aren't slowing the game down in any way. With this Pantheon, you want to be making plays on the map. They know the Caps has no flash, so why not help Jojo out? Good punish on the Caps.
Hex
nice
flash.
play.
TP.
Supa's now the target.
Over to Supa. That TP won't save him in time. It's slow. Flash away and Supa's down a summoner.
Summoner's being burnt across the map as Alvaro arrives top lane to assist his AD carry. The base going to be interrupted. So a bit of an advantage gained as we just continue to see action across the map and keep my eyes on where the junglers are.
Justice Punch in, onto Caps, Shield of Durant, gets the stun. Jojo gets the trade, but SkewMond's not going to show yet. And remember, no level 6 for the Trundle means as well he can't start shredding Jojo down for the one-shot.
The early Spectre's kill here makes this matchup a little bit easier for Jojo as Hansama on a ward.
On a control ward, that TP was so they know that Labrov is teleporting in. MKOI pulled the trigger. Really nice use of information, remembering that you see TPs on control wards, even in the brush.
All right, it's time for the flash track. As we look across the rift, we'll see Myrwn no flash, Elyoya no flash, Jojo no flash,
Elyoya
no
needs
flash.
Elyoya needs flash.
That is an important summoner to take track of. Elyoya trampled down. Hero's entrance from Jojo helps out, but Numbers right now still an advantage of G2. Alvaro makes it even as look towards bot. Dominus has been popped. 1v1. Flash away though. Broken Blade has lost the minion wave to that heal. Won't do a damn thing. And even though he's got a rain of anger, it's Myrwn bringing down the shovel. One more last right to send him into the dirt.
It was the counter match that BB wanted, but he didn't want to take the hands that Myrwn had. And MKOI starting to find the success that they want in these early stages.
Supa almost caught out in the meantime as well. We're getting chaotic here in this second game. I asked for a banger, and I think already we are starting to deliver. Alvaro interrupted midway, a pillar up as well. This Rakan needs to battle down the wave, and that too is interrupted. Separated from Jojo, and a shockwave to bring him in. A chomp down, and the beats of warfare claim. Jojo goes back in. He's trampled, but he's safe near the turret as G2 are bringing pace in with this cow.
I mean, this is what we wanted, a clear difference to what we had in game one. Aggression across the map. A solo kill for Caps, a solo kill for Myrwn. Action aplenty in the mid lane. Both teams going head to head, but it is SkewMond to start off this objective. Yeah, I think just one makes the most sense for him. Just grab that one grub when he has a chance. Labrov, though, eyeing up mid lane.
Caps healed to get out of the range. Shielded Ram connects anyway, but there's the flash again. Labrov, these engages are gorgeous. He bops him back towards G2, and this is a donation cow from Labrov.
Jojo didn't even have a chance to flash. Labrov immediately engages, and he just got caught out, trying to fake pressure over towards the Void Grubs so that then SkewMond would leave, but ends up getting his life in now.
Ulti from Supa, he's going to pop it while Elyoya is coming in as well. Big minion wave, Phosphorus Bomb clears it out, but with the Gatling gun and barrier, Summer still drops. Supa, Elyoya get low. Labrov is on the way in again, but he needs his jungler. SkewMond is so far away, as in the end, MKOI get the kill and get out.
That's a TP to top lane from Caps, as MKOI get themselves a kill onto the Corki. They're also able to donate over towards Supa. So funneling resources into the superstar AD carry is definitely what KOI want to be doing. What's crazy is that, you know, the question around, like, has there been action mid? And the answer is yes, as Elyoya secures a grab, but the fighting doesn't stop.
Subjugation as well from SkewMond. Shockwave brought back in, but I didn't think it really connected. Elyoya is still dead, chomped down, and Caps picks up the kill. This mid-jungle duo is just there first, and grubs go down. Better than not, G2 get 2 for 1.
Also, this Orianna just being accelerated is going to be so terrifying as the game goes on. Top side, though, it's not over.
He's doing it again, but this time onto Jojo. Shielded around, zoning him out. Labrov, though, trampled on. He might die to the winds of war, and does. You know what? Labrov has had a killer game, but he had to mess up somewhere.
A misplay from Labrov as he takes 2 tower shots to make that play happen. Jojo, though, holds his patience. He's able to outplay, and then he gets a kill back for himself. It is G2 with the gold lead, but my goodness, it is a bloodbath at the beginning of game 2.
Hans is walking into Fog of War. He controls not. Valkyrie out just in time. Dragon is up, and MKOI now with the retreat from Summer are looking to start this objective. G2 coming to punch a fight, but Broken Blade is so damn low. Maiden chunking him out a little bit. He's going to have to TP back in if they want to trade this Dragon.
Yeah, this matchup is not going the way that I think Broken Blade had intended. And now he finds himself at not a significant deficit, but definitely behind. Dragon is alive. This is still our first Dragon of the game, mind you.
I think if G2 weren't winning out on other parts of the map, like when it comes to like the Orianna getting the early leads and Trundle getting this early lead, I would be more scared of Myrwn having so much control in the side lane. But if MKOI ever get control of the game, and they're the ones that can set up for this 1-3-1, this is going to be a disaster for G2, because Broken Blade is just burning gold, I'm sorry, bleeding gold on the side lane. And there's just not really any response apart from over-committing to a side. But when you've got this Galio and you've got the Pantheon that can respond really effectively to any side lane threats towards Myrwn, if G2 lose control, they could very quickly just lose out through this topside matchup.
Damn right. Dragon, though, for the time being, going to be started by G2 and just completed. Using this time, Labrov gets deep vision in bot side jungle as well. I'm going to have to expand the minimap. Maybe I need glasses. Yeah, there is one ward right there, by the way. I had to look. The fact that I had to make the minimap bigger, that concerns me. I need to eat more carrots. Damn, the screen's not even that small. Okay.
The line assignments are pretty interesting as they've actually put Summer in the matchup against Myrwn. They've now got the Renekton into the Galio, which does make a lot of sense on paper, but you are putting Hansama in a very dangerous position. Look at the damage he just takes from the ghouls. As Alvaro is hovering around, that deep ward did spot Alvaro pathing towards the bot side of the map. Now Hansama, he really wants to make sure he's not losing access to farm. And that's why it's very important that Labrov shadows him, and now he has made his way towards the bot lane as well.
The morning mist hits and Hansama just getting chunked by 4 cats. And a Panda Lady, look at his health. He just lost almost half on top of what he had.
But because Labrov is forced to cover for Hansama in this matchup, it means that it just opens up both Alvaro and Elyoya to do whatever plays they want.
True.
And that seems to be on the bottom side of the map now with Elyoya having ult and Alvaro in position to look for the dive. G2 have to abandon all hope on this bottom lane.
Keep your eyes on the minimap though, and notice that Caps keeps shadowing into the fog of war as well. Kind of having that half roam so that he's in a position to potentially move should some action kick off. But he doesn't want to concede all this midway farm as well. Supa doing a good job of just holding that wave, keeping the pressure up, working towards his second item. With no major objective on the map, this is really the best play that both teams have available to them. And I think it's KOI that is that driving force, as now Supa making his way to top lane.
Shooter going to come in. Broken Blade's got nowhere to go. There is a Dominus available. It's going to come late though, and no heal. Supa takes it with ease, and Broken Blade is having a rough game too.
And just really well played by MKOI. They forced G2 to over-index to save Hansama on the bottom side thanks to Myrwn's pressure, and then they just play on the opposite side. It's really well push and pull play from MKOI, and G2 are struggling, and again, it's all coming off the back of the way Myrwn is playing on this Yorick.
KOI is being super proactive with the pressure that they have, and now with these resets coming through, they're going to get some nice purchases just ahead of the Rift Herald spawning. Myrwn may have overstayed his welcome. Can he outplay this situation?
He does that flash. Morning Mist onto SkewMond slows him down. The Maiden coming to help out, but Myrwn's low on mana. Outside of the Baby Rage Cage, Dark Possession now down, but with a headbutt in the air, or rather pulverized. Labrov, even after a trample, doesn't commit further. Myrwn takes a while to die, and Hansama was too far away.
Gets away with his life. And Myrwn not too upset about that one. He has the TP available, so he can catch this wave, go back to base, spend what money he has, and be ready for the Drake fight. It is G2 that have slightly better vision around this bot river, but we're seeing some resets come through from them as well.
I think the problem with investing 3 members of G2 the bottom side to kill the Maiden, MKOI get to push out and move in towards this top side of the map and get vision for the Rift Herald. Now they have been a little bit slow in establishing that because Elyoya was only moving up towards this top half and no real vision to speak of for himself or Alvaro really. But still, MKOI getting the waves in the favor if they want to look for this objective.
Also remember that Caps, he did start off this game with a really nice lead. He's been involved in every single kill that's happened in the game. 2-1-3 scoreline. Sorry, he's been involved in every play that's happened in the game. I'm with you. Right? But he's now, like, he's behind in experience because Jojo's just been sitting in a side lane. He's gotten 2 kills of his own. He's closed the goal gap significantly. And a Galio that's behind an Orianna, I mean, that is a really nice place to be as you transition into the mid-game. That Herald is now an objective that's available for both teams to play for. It's G2 that's first in the topside river.
It's worth an item check here quickly as well. First, all across the board, looking towards the second and what really matters. A Yorick in the side lane. Myrwn is going to commit and just play the long con. He's got TP down and he's got an open bot turret. While Broken Blade is considering moving up, now moving back down to match.
The problem is though, they actually, hang on, we're going to get the big trade.
Now, Wife is down. That's the only advantage here for Broken Blade. The wave going to get crushed, and Broken Blade can clear this with ease, so not the end of the world. Supa steps up to Hansama, chunks him with a Q at almost half HP. The re-engage on the Supa, forces the flash. Now for Labrov, in dangerous territory is Redemption. Heals up and does a little bit on the edge to SkewMond. G2 walk away, but a bit of a chunk after the play. Ignite down as well.
Yeah, MKOI have been able to hold on to pressure in this mid-wave because Hansama shifted up to try and regroup with the rest of G2 through this topside pressure and Caps against
Jojo. Under a turret though, he's safe for now, and G2 are walking up.
Jojo's got to get out of here. 3 members of G2 have set their sights on him, and he's going to be able to justice punch away as the rest of MKOI are actually starting off this Herald. Of course, remember the ulti from the Galio. Jojo is looking.
And they're going to turn straight away. Forget the Herald. They look for the play. SkewMond is low. He has the ball on him as Alvaro goes for the engage. It's deep, but G2 take a chunk of damage while Herald goes down to Pantheon. That's Elyoya. He picks up the eye while Shockwave was not used. G2 just couldn't find the angle for a return.
MKOI get exactly what they wanted, while Myrwn just continued to put pressure on the bot side. Remember, there's a risk, given that he used his TP to get back to the bot lane. In theory, G2 should have been able to generate a numbers advantage, but with the sheer amount of pressure that this Yorick was putting in the bot side, it forced Broken Blade to stick around. He didn't have a good TP timing. That tower would have gone down. It looks like it's going to go down anyway, and the Dragon is available as well. KOI is playing with their pressure beautifully here at game 2.
And look at Caps' health on the top side. Like, you cannot contest this G2 because Jojo joins and Caps can't really do anything about it. Looking for the reset now, both mid lane.
No flash on Supa.
See how quickly MKOI played. It's with that no flash on Super. It depends when's Caps going to come in. The TP now from MKOI brings out first. Caps a little bit later. Summer gets chunked. Redemption going to heal MKOI up to full. It's great as Jojo gets over the wall with the shielders around, gives Super the reposition, and as he walks it back again, the engage is in. Shockwave finally there. The poke good as MKOI lose Alvaro first. Summer focusing on Super as Caps helps out with the distance. Phosphorus bomb. They survive. Meanwhile, MKOI play it front to back of the rest of the fight. Myrwn comes in. Dark Procession not going to find a lockdown. His Morning Mist also missed. And MKOI on the Dragon still. It looks like the right side of the fight went damn well.
It ends up 2 for 2 off the back of it, but it will be the Dragon going to MKOI, and a huge amount of that was off of this exhaust from Labrov. Barely clips it onto Supa as he goes to that killer instinct into the back line. And it means that you just don't get that assassination potential. And Supa finds himself on the wrong side of the fight.
It felt that the fight was quite scattered, because at the start of it, you'll see that Supa looks like a prime target, but you called it, Hysterics. The Orianna just isn't in a position, and it's awkward for the Renekton as well. So it starts with a 3v5. KOI chunk out so many members of G2, but they don't actually secure any kills at the very start. And this is where things get chaotic, because now KOI is split up. They're fighting fights on multiple fronts. And this is where Myrwn just provides that resolution. The damage that he provides in the 3 versus 2 near the Dragon, flashing to try and secure a kill onto Caps as well. I think that fight could have gone very wrong if Myrwn didn't arrive in time, because I feel like that KOI just didn't quite have the damage to secure those few kills needed to swing the fight so heavily in their favor.
Now, though, you've got that 3-kill Yorick going into the Broken Blade, and when things were bad, they're only gone from bad to worse.
Oh, absolutely.
This side lane is just going to be absolutely
He's
horrible.
also got Merc Treads as well. Remember, Morning Mist is the AP damage. Like, that Q, that last ride is so damn strong with its physical damage, and in this game, Broken Blade doesn't really have much to go against it for now. MKOI, it's not the only thing going well, as mid turret is an easy charge. Supa's going to take this away, and ladies and gentlemen, it feels good right now for Spain. 2K in the lead, mid is open.
When we spoke to Jojo and Alvaro on the Euphoria podcast, one of the things that they said to us was that they wanted to be faster, because sometimes when you're playing against these international teams, it feels like that you're just being suffocated, that you just, anytime you try to do anything on the map, it feels so hard to respond. And this is a great example of what they're talking about. They are just relentless. They are constantly looking for plays on the map. They just took a mid tower. Bot is continually sieging. They're now moving with the pressure that they have in top into the top side river.
They're going to get caught for it, though. Alvaro turns into a gauge, and Jojo slaps down. A great hero's entrance, shielded around on 2-man as well. It's the tanky members, but still, as Broken Blade comes on in, G2 try to turn it around. Successfully for now. Myrwn comes in, Broken Blade survives. A re-engage there as well as Supa gets to the back line. But he's going to be dead for the chase down of Summer. The auto secures. Labrov survives, and they turn that on a whim because everything was used on SkewMond and Labrov.
And just as I was praising them for the pressure they were putting down, G2 finds a way to respond. Credit to Broken Blade for that very early TP. The fact that they created a numbers advantage before the Yorick could arrive allowed for G2 to come out ahead in the fight, secure themselves an Rakan, and all of a sudden, the momentum may have shifted into G2's favor.
And it looks so good for MKOI at the start. I love that Alvaro baited it with that charm to get the engage, but Summer gets good damage onto Supa. Caps is in a great spot to follow up onto this, and as Betty called it, the Broken Blade with the early TP directly into the middle of the core members of MKOI set up the spice alongside a great pillar from the Trundle to deny Supa really being able to escape away or kite back in that fight.
It's another game where AD carries out trading off in these fights. 3-1-3 and 3-2-1. Supa, 2 items and a bit. Same can be said of Summer, so they're both threats again in this game. I do feel like SkewMond, great ulti, keeps him alive in that tank on tank battle. He survived long with Labrov, and G2 with the turn have put this game near even mark after MKOI were leading 3K.
I mean, we talked a little bit about it in that first Dragon fight where I was saying that I feel like that this fight could have gone quite wrong for MKOI just because of how close it ended up being if it wasn't for Myrwn. And so when G2 find fights without Myrwn present, you can see without a lot of the gold presence how dangerous it can really be. So I think that KOI need to be quite careful with how aggressive they're being. As right now they're being shepherded by G2.
It's also just how quickly Jojo can go down if he's subjugated by Trundle. Like, all those resistances that usually make you a good frontliner are just gone.
Sure.
And after that, if Myrwn isn't there, you don't really have a strong frontline apart from Pantheon with that Aegis Assault. So if G2 can find these moments where they subjugate the subjugate the Galio and can pick off Elyoya, there's just nothing left to protect Supa.
My eyes, if I'm MKOI, would entirely be on Myrwn, just enabling him to just be this constant threat in the side lane. Playing through 2 lanes. Of course, they've already secured the tier 2 tower in the mid lane, but just, he feels so immovable right now with the amount of damage that he's able to output. He is a little bit squishy, I will admit. Level 15, only has the Bramble Vest for defensive itemization, but I feel like the amount of pressure that he can generate should set up for an easy Dragon that has now made its way back onto the rift.
Grouping up mid for the time being. You mentioned the Dragon would be number 3, but number 2 for either of these teams to pick it up. There's no Baron to align with it, but it looks like MKOI are going to give it up in favor of top turret and getting some deep vision in the lead up to the purple worm in the top lane. So G2 is...
Did he just flash?
He flashed away from Caps. No, that was before. That was a replay.
I want to say that that was a
replay.
Fat finger or a misclick, or maybe he was typing a flash or something and
maybe he forgot WSD's not in the game yet. He was using WASDA or WASADA as we call it.
But that's a mistake. The flash not being available for the potential flash taunt from the Galio. Now unavailable. Thank you, observers, for bringing that to our attention.
Thank you.
Because for the rest of the map, flashes are plenty. In the early game, flashes were permanently on cooldown, but now the game has slowed down a little bit, 24 minutes in. Baron, a minute away. I don't expect that to be the next main objective, but it's important to recognize that KOI have an advantage of 4 towers to none. G2 has not, they've barely been able to touch towers. I think it's the top lane tower that's really at the lowest point, and that's because Jojo just spent a lot of time solo in that top side. So even though G2 did find a good fight around that top river, I don't want anyone to be convinced, like, it is still KOI's game. They're the ones still being the driving force, and they're the ones constantly putting this pressure down onto G2.
I think as well, once you start to get Supa towards this this AP, and he's able to provide a little bit of that poke, trying to contest midway, but Sama gets a little bit more dangerous, and there is, if you control mid, the opportunity to go for side plays.
Pantheon Elyoya just ulted in top 15 seconds before Baron, trying to force out Caps and get that flash or get the ulti, but neither achieved. Supa gonna get face checked by SkewMond, doesn't care for now. Pillar's out, but it ends there. Alvaro looking for an engage. Myrwn's trying to pinch this movement with his maiden, but for now, quickness going to start us off, and the hero's entrance onto Sama. He's knocked up, he's stunned up, he flashes away. Myrwn on the chase. Get away from me! Han survives, but now they don't finish the job. It takes Elyoya, but is the time worth it? For G2, they're getting chunked down. Elyoya re-engage the fight, and Myrwn plays it back. Supa did the same, and it came close to being a whoopsie. But in MKOI, we believe.
They make the dive work. Caps now isolated against Myrwn. He's the last man standing. KOI is looking for the final kill.
Exhaust. Caps flashes and dives to the maiden. That's an ace, and that's MKOI's victory march in this game.
Massive turnaround play from MKOI, finding their moment to make that pick happen. Myrwn, great roam towards the mid lane. And at the start, I got a little dicey for it, because Supa got stunned right as he went for the ultimate. But still, MKOI able to make it work. We just see it off the back of this, where the pick is perfect onto Sama. Myrwn just chasing him down, and as Supa goes through, just ends up getting stunned. Just thanks to Broken Blade as he goes in, so doesn't quite get the damage, has to flash away. But regardless, you just don't really have the damage to follow through with Sama gone, and Elyoya and Jojo providing a fantastic CC chain to set them up so the rest can knock them down.
I think this just really demonstrates the difference with when Myrwn is there, how much value he provides in the fight, doing so much damage, running Sama down, not giving him an opportunity to have any impact in the fight. KOI finding a beautiful pick and looking to equalize this series 1-1. A 7k gold lead. Again, they're yet to drop a tower. And this is why I really wanted to mention earlier, yes, G2 did get a good fight, but they needed so many more good fights before they could swing the game back in their control, and KOI just would not allow them to have it.
Does feel like we've got an interesting game 2 on our hands. It looks like an equal game state, and at least series, right? It's definitely not equal in this individual game. 8k gold lead. SkewMond going to get face checked here, but Elyoya is controlling this whole side of the jungle. G2 getting pushed back, and we are approaching 8.5. This turret is definitely going to drop. G2 going to think about a fight, but with Myrwn getting that demolished proc, how easy it is for this Yorick to walk up versus 2, versus 3 at this point in the game.
And as soon as they're able to get this shove on midway, it gets really difficult for G2 to try and defend, because you can so quickly shift Galio to mid, shift Supa to this top side, look for potential dives, keep up pressure on the map, and just begin to outnumber G2 across all these 3 lanes. And the dive potential when you've got like Jojo, Elyoya onto some of these squishy members is very, very high.
So now it's simply the waiting game. Dragon going to be spawning in 30 seconds, but of course, for KOI, that's not really going to be that instrumental. Denying it away from G2 will of course be a nice thing to do, but their siege will have to be the next point of contention. And the problem is the siege from KOI isn't the strongest. They're quite short range overall. Their best play is to leverage potentially even the Maiden in one side lane, maybe even overstack with 5 in mid, and then use that side lane pressure. But a 4-1 with a Yorick is probably their best way to kind of break into the base. They still have about 30 seconds left on this Baron. Let's see if they can expose an inhibitor.
At least we'll get the push hit and then move to Mountain Dragon. It seems to be easy. This is really dotting the I's, crossing the T's at this point as G2. They've fended them off from their base. Okay, they've kept MKOI from breaking down the structures inside, but as the Dragon will shortly be taken, I'm sure. As that next Baron comes up in 3 minutes, it's only a matter of time. It is such a risk to even walk outside the base right now as Alvaro spots SkewMond.
They're just going to let Elyoya solo it. They're just going to keep up pressure where they can, and G2 unfortunately just don't have the pressure on the map to try and look for a quick snap engage and make something work in their favor.
Quite frankly, I'm really happy to see this performance from KOI.
Yeah.
Of course, game 1, a couple of their objective setups I think were, well, not handled in the best way, but game 2 they've just bounced right back. I've loved the way in which they've used their pressure in their side lanes to just kind of keep the foot on the gas, as one would say in America, and the foot on the pedal. The pedal, I don't know. I couldn't think of a British version of that.
Foot on the accelerator.
That'll work. Yeah, good one. In any case, they just did a good job, is my point, at playing the game much faster. And while they did have that bit of a mistake around that top river, ultimately it's been a very clean game overall from KOI. And again, 6 towers to 0. They haven't dropped a single tower, just proving how difficult it's really been for G2 to kind of put that pressure back on KOI.
And I do want to echo what you said earlier. Like, it's the quick engages, the keeping the pace up, constantly putting pressure down. It has really been what MKOI have tried to work on over the last few weeks of the split, and it's coming to fruition here. And I think it's great to see, because I think this is the team in our league that almost always benefits the most from going to internationals. Like, obviously G2 does well, but like when it comes to what their takeaway is and how quickly they can implement it, so often it's MKOI who are coming back. And I think it says a lot about, you know, the rookies that are on this squad.
Yeah.
Or, well, not rookies, but like
You're used to saying that, right?
Second year players. Like, they are so good at adapting and growing, and I think it's only the start of what is expected to be incredible careers for some of these players.
We're so used to saying it. It's just because, like, you know, these are not names that, like, household LEC fans that have been around for longer than, you know, 2 years would be used to, right? They'd be used to the old Mad Lions roster. They'd see Elyoya and go, oh, yeah, he's still here. But outside of Jojo, like, who else we got? And it has been a brilliant 2 years. And there's been ups and downs, but I think that's what makes a great team. Coming from the Shy fan, there are amazing players on this org that sometimes disappoint, but when they hit the highs, they hit it so damn high. Like, Supa's a great example of that. Myrwn, you can see in this game alone, but you can see in many different games. And Alvaro with Elyoya, one of the best support jungle duos, if not the best in the league. Showing up against G2 is not only a great sign, it's a great sign of the night we have ahead. G2 are trying to elongate this game, give their Orianna, who now has Rabadons, a fighting chance, a Corki the same as well. But
he has Rabadons and then got half-healthed by a bunch of cats. It's not going well for cats.
It's definitely not. With the hat, we need some armor as well, I guess, and maybe this is going to be Azonya's coming forth, but who knows, who cares? It's Farron o'clock. Elyoya has GA, and they're on the top side of the map. 5 seconds, and G2 are going to try and walk in and stop the inevitable.
Jojo's going to be the focus here as Broken Blade tries to go. SkewMond still has Pillar.
Yeah, so he can't ulti out. Jojo, he can't TP out. He's going to be chomped, and they're holding the CC. He's going to shield a Duran. Alvaro turns it into an engage. Elyoya is here as well. Teleport from G2 to bring the fight in, but Summer has to run away. The ulti from Jojo sends him deep. He goes golden. The shockwave brings in Supa. Wait, MKOI are getting low. They're going deep. A knock-up galore. G2 are winning this fight, and MKOI need to get the hell out of there. Myrwn running for his life. Broken Blade gets caged up. Slice and dice. Flashed away from another stun. Elyoya kept in place as Summer walks up. Jojo doesn't have a flash, or rather he does, but doesn't want to go back in. Myrwn can't bring the cats out, and as G2 chase down this fight, MKOI, like me, like you, thought that this was impossible.
It looked impossible, it felt impossible, but somehow G2 find the fight they need with that shockwave shutting down Supa where he stood.
KOI is so frustrating to watch.
Betty is a bit tilted.
Because like Jojo's just, he's sitting in a top lane, making it so easy for G2 to just play for him when they could have like disengaged. Like the Baron is just spawning. The timing is dreadful for KOI because it's given G2 an easy way back into this game. Like, he survives for so long. The engage comes through and it CC's Summer, but like look how scattered the fight is. The TP now comes in from Myrwn. G2 gets an opportunity to regroup and Supa just goes in way too deep. He tries to 1v4 effectively on the backline. He's forced to flash immediately, and now so much of the damage disappears because you're so reliant on Myrwn that he is now just forced to retreat. They know they don't have the numbers, and it's a frustrating sight to watch because you're right. This was KOI's game to lose, and this is the fight that could very well lose him the game.
Again, though, just an insane prediction from Caps on the shockwave.
Yeah.
Like, he catches the Kai'Sa mid-killer instinct, and if they'd kind of coordinated where Summer like Valkyrie forward and look for the play, maybe, but he just catches it. Now G2 sieging on the mid wave.
Now remember how much standing gold there is for G2 as well, because they haven't taken a tower yet this game, and now they're quickly going to convert it into 3.
It was 7k gold lead at the end of that fight.
It was
and
more.
MK now 3,
It was like 9 almost at one point.
I mean, at the end of the fight was 7.
Oh,
now
true.
it's 3k. Like, this gold is just completely vanishing for MKOI.
Now they're going into the Myrwn, he's isolated. Can't G2 just...
But wait onto me when the cage comes out. You're right, he is isolated, but he's dead before Jojo gets the ulti in. Alvaro, he's ulted in. His Pantheon ult's there as well. Summer is just firing though. They say kill Cap, but he's shockwave on his death knell, and he doesn't even ring the damn bell. G2 have been given the Hail Mary, not once, but twice.
KOI just collapse. Myrwn in the river, isolated, dies before Jojo can even arrive. They thought that they had killed Caps, but they didn't have the damage. And just like that, the game is going to be over.
I cannot believe G2 are ending this game. Only 3 minutes ago, they were being sieged in their own base with a nearly 10k gold lead, and now they're winning the bloody game.
In our region, in our League of Legends, the game is not over until that Nexus goes boom.
Just a massive throw from KOI. They slowed the game down too much, and G2 punished them. Credit for G2 to finding that fight, but wow, what a throw from KOI.
They would be kicking themselves. Raman, you know, as we go to a break on match point.